I want to start with a quote. Don't let the fear of loneliness or change make you settle for a life that doesn't truly reflect your desires. Why do people settle? Because they don't have options. They don't have choices. If we have a lot of options, we will never settle for anything less than what we truly deserve. That is the fact. Even though this is a very simple concept, it has a very powerful effect. When you understand that without options, you will compromise some of your wants. You will compromise even some of your values to make the only option that you have works. But when you have 3 or more options, you are not willing to tolerate for anything mediocre. Makes sense. But how many of us actually apply this in real life? We often justify, we often rationalize ourselves why the decision we have made is the only option we have and why we should stick with that option. Even though deep down in our souls, we want a different option. We want a different outcome. If you have several options, would you still put up for a silly option? If you have 3 different job offers, would you still choose a bullshit job? If you have 3 different girls to date, would you still tolerate for a first girl's bad behavior? Most likely not. When we have options, we would rather choose whatever best for us. It is obvious that everybody wants the best for themselves, and at the core desire, nobody wants to experience less than what they are capable of. It's funny how a lot of people settle and then they come up with some bullshit but logical reasons to justify their poor decisions. Kind of validate their mediocre choices with some BS reasons so they don't feel bad about themselves, about their lives. Why do we need to understand the reason why people settle? Because without knowing the root cause, we can't solve or fix any problem. So what would be a solution then? Always put your effort and energy into creating new options. What do I mean by that? Let's talk about dating. Until you become official with someone, don't get your feelings hung up on that person. As a man, it's so easy to get your feelings attached to someone after several dates and ignore the fact that she may not feel the same way. Especially when you have been waiting for so long, when you have been single for so long. It's so easy to talk yourself into settling, into compromising. Let's say when you have a feeling for someone and she may not feel the same way, and on the sudden she wants to stop seeing you, you will then end up heartbroken. So it's very important to keep seeing and dating other women, and don't let your feelings too attached with anyone until you become girlfriend or boyfriend. I know this stuff is intuitive, but for some reason, when our emotions and feelings take over, it's not easy to see it clearly. That's why a lot of people make their decision based on their temporary feelings and then justify their decisions later with some BS reasons. Like I said, this is always easier said than done. For example, I caught myself falling into this trap so many times. I thought things are going well and I don't have to look for anyone new. But life never fails to surprise me. And every single time when I forgot to create new options, I ended up suffering. That's why I remind myself regularly that my job is simply to create new options. Even though things may go in well with a current girl that I'm seeing, it's just a simple reminder that I tell myself not to get too contemplate, not to get too comfortable. Because when we get too comfortable, we then become lazy and are hesitant to take new risks. In career, Your main job is really to constantly improve your market value and always look for the best job for you. And in order to do so, you need to create multiple options, which means don't easily settle for the first offer that comes to you. It's okay to accept a temporary job while looking for a better fit, but in the back of your mind, you must always look for something that actually personally fulfilling to you. Human nature is not so good at handling discomfort, even if we know it is necessary for our growth. What do I mean? Even though I know that I need to always create new options, I don't prefer doing it at all. I would rather choose to stay with the familiar and try to work it out instead of pushing myself through the difficult things again. The reason I mention this is because if we are not conscious of our thoughts, they will drive us back to our old habit, which is to choose the familiar and safety over the unknown anytime. I have to admit that it is not always easy to force myself to take risks, especially when I don't see immediate results and the current situation is so comfortable. Fear of change would feel so real in the moment that it would take tremendous willpower and courage to start over. That's why very few people are willing to do it, and that's why many people are settling. To wrap up, always remember that you deserve to be happy and fulfilled. And in order to achieve that, you need to choose the best option for you. Oftentimes, you don't know which one is the best option until you have multiple choices. It's simple to say we need to create multiple options, but the process of creating multiple options will take time, effort, and several disappointments along the way. But it's worth it in the long run and in the end. When you have options, you're in control of your own destiny. You can choose the job that is best fit for you, the partner who makes you happy, and the lifestyle that you want. Truly believing in yourself and never sell yourself short. Hey, I hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you for choosing to listen to my podcast. I love doing this and I do it in my spare time. And your ratings and reviews would mean a lot to me. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. And until next time, never stop believing in yourself and always be your badass, authentic, genuine self.